Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 3 of this mini-series from ROI to ROE, the true value of return on engagement. It's a hangout mini-series mostly geared towards coaches, authors, and speakers, and basically anyone whose business is to provide a service that is based on relationships. I'm Lisa Ingalls. I'm the host of this mini-series. I'm a coach, an author, and a speaker, and before a year ago, or until a year ago, I basically was clueless about this whole thing of return on engagement, because in my niche, most of the coaching for coaches, most of the business coaching for coaches, still encourages us to build our audience and connect with them through things like email marketing and video campaigns, through webinars and teleseminars, JV partnerships even. And while all of that type of training and those types of courses are great, and I know that they've helped lots and lots of coaches build big, huge, scalable, profitable businesses, what I've noticed, at least for me, and what I've seen, is that some of those strategies have become overused to the point where a lot of it feels just like noise, and it feels, to me at least, like a lot of content is being thrown at me, I'll say, whether I want it or not. And so that's on the audience side of things. You sort of feel like you're being fire hosed with everyone else's agenda. There's no real sense of feeling seen or feeling heard or being connected with, even though I get these emails that say, "Hey Lisa, I've been thinking about you." I'm sitting there going, have you really been thinking about me? I don't even know who you are. So no,
you haven't.
I know.
That's what I think. No, you haven't.
Yeah, exactly. No, you haven't really been thinking about me. So, and then on the business side of things, let's go on the flip side. As a coach or a service professional who's out there trying to get out there and connect with people, where sales and marketing aren't really our forte, it's like we're just following these templates because we've been given them, because we've been told that they work and that you can make a 6-figure or a 7-figure business by following X, Y, Z. But the problem is, I know for me, is that I wasn't seeing results, and I could tell that I wasn't really connecting with my audience or prospective clients, and it felt like I was compromising who I was. And honestly, it was super, super duper, super duper, duper frustrating. And so about a year ago, I sort of threw in the towel, gave it all up, and I started to have conversations, real conversations. And over the course of this past year, because of those conversations, I've built some amazing, amazing relationships with people all over the world, and now I'm beginning to experience that those conversations are turning into conversions. In other words, what I'm starting to see is a payback in the time that I've spent listening and connecting and communicating with people, and that payback for me has been a big part emotional, in the sense that I feel a sense of fulfillment that I've never felt before, because I know that I'm doing my work in the world and I'm touching a lot of people. And it's also been financial, because I've acquired clients because of those conversations. So I really learned about this real engagement or authentic engagement right here in Google+, and Ifat Cohen, who was on last week in parts 1 and 2 of this series, was actually one of my first teachers, who actually showed me what it is to engage with other people. But another person who I really learned about engagement from is Mia Voss. And when I first came to Google+, I immediately found her shows, and I was like, oh my God, this woman is amazing. She's connecting in a way I've never seen anybody connect before. She's authentically doing it. She's just who she is. And I learned from her just by watching her and observing her, not only in her hangouts, but also in the way that she posts. And for those of you who might not know who Mia is, because I know that there are some people coming over here from Facebook or Twitter, Mia is the host of the Mia Connect Power Chat, which is on Friday mornings at 10 o'clock, I believe, or 10 Pacific time. She'll let us know in just a moment, where she connects you to the people and the businesses that you should know. And she has an amazing way of doing it. And so that's my introduction to my engagement expert today, who is Mia Voss. Hey, Mia.
Hey, girl. How are you?
Good. Yay. I get
Thank
to
you
have
for
you
that.
on my show, finally.
I feel like, can I just do this real quick?
Aw, I
That was
love it.
for you. I had to do it. It's a habit almost with my show. So clapping for you. Thanks for having me on, sweetie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, one of the reasons why I knew immediately when I was doing this series I have to have Mia has to be a part of this is because you're probably one of the first people in Google Plus who had a hangout, right? Had your own hangout, and the way that you engage, the way that you create conversations, that's what I love about what you do is you create conversations, not just between you and your guests, but you help to facilitate conversations between the viewers and the guests and you, and it's like this really cool party, really, coming to your shows. Everybody who knows you knows that that's definitely true.
Now it's a party.
It is.
Look how I changed it up for you, too. I usually have it facing this way, but I was like, I'm going on Lisa's show. I want to do something different. So
I know. I like it. I like that background.
I like that. Well,
it's
and
awesome.
thank you. And that fun thing, that was probably the toughest thing for me to learn to bring out, that it was okay to bring out fun, because that's when I shine the best.
Yeah, and you know what? So let's go into just this whole topic of authentic engagement, because I know where I'm coming from and a lot of the colleagues that are in my industry, in the coaching industry, we've been taught to engage in a certain way. And I know we were talking in the green room, it's like giving rules about engagement. Like, do you really want to do that for authentic engagement? It might be counter to it. But how do you undo these ways, you've been told, at least I know I have been told, this is what engagement looks like, and this is how you engage. But is that really authentic engagement? And how do we sort of find that authentic voice of ours and start connecting with people, really?
It's almost in the sentence that you just said that it's, how do you find your authentic engagement? It's a lonely path to figuring that out. But if you really start even when you're building your business plan and say, okay, first of all, how do I want to make money? What lights me up? What inspires me? Hopefully, if you can get the what inspires me and match that up to how to make money, it's pretty sweet, which it sounds like you did. You had to go through that uncomfortable, I'm not in the right spot, right? to get that. So that is what I'd say that the biggest thing you have to figure out is what is it that lights you up and inspires you, and then you can engage that way and engage in that manner, and then you're not going to be attracting the people that really aren't in your in your circle or the people that you want to hang out with. And I had to learn that too, because initially when I started the show, I did it as a social media power chat. I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing, was social media, and then I got over here and I'm like, man, there are people who are much better at this than I am, and that's cool. So I went from having it just be all about social media to opening it up to being a business influencers, or just people I thought were nifty.
I think that you hit on something super key there, which is even you had to learn what it is that you really were passionate about, on fire about, what made you unique, and it's a journey. So as you enter into this realm of having conversations with people, it takes a while to figure out, what is my voice? What is my authentic self in this process?
Absolutely. And then I think the tough thing is too, I just had a conversation with somebody the other day that we still can get tripped up of, I should be doing it this way. I see everyone else doing it this way. I should be doing it this way too. And then, we're all swimming over the cliff, and, little lemmings jumping over the cliff. And so I think it's a daily reminder of just kind of getting yourself aligned. That's either through meditation or whatever. Definitely, and just kind of being okay with making mistakes. We all, do the wrong stuff, or don't say the right thing, but you can always just kind of, as long as you're just engaging in the right way, then you're attracting the right audience. And for me, it's about audience, so that's kind of the interesting thing. That's what I was saying, of like, not only like the money maker, but figure out what is your bottom line. What do you want to happen? For me, it's been building an audience and having people that show up no matter what the topic is, which is kind of fun because it's different every week. Faux show. But a lot of the same people show up. So, but I'm always open to new people. But that was my ROI, is having people come in. And now I do Hangouts for Hire and working on sponsorships and things like that. So that's the piece that goes with it. But what you're saying for the audience, yes, it could be more speaking engagements like you got. And what I love for you is that once you really align that and figured that out and nailed it down and spent some time in the uncomfortable place, look what it brought you. Now you're attracting all these different types of people. You're having shows. You've been rocking it since I saw you. Well, first time I met you was on Christine and Mia show.
Yeah, the What's Your Story show.
I was like, what's her story? Because she's awesome.
What's her story?
Well,
so here's the cool thing. Being authentic means being imperfect. It means stumbling and bumbling your way. I mean, you know that things happen. You forget what you're going to say, or the technology goes wrong, and that's the great part of the authenticity, is you don't have to be perfect in putting yourself out there.
Oh, it's so freeing. It's really freeing, because you just, I think, especially when I started looking at all the different shows and seeing the different styles, and there were definitely hangout shows going on, but when I started, it was definitely just crickets chirping, and just you didn't even know who was going to watch or if anybody really cared. So yeah, that's uncomfortable too. But then, and I literally had to go through this spot of going, man, if people are going to be like, what is wrong with her? She's got a tiara, stuff's, Bob Foss is knocking stuff off her desk, that, rest in peace, Bob. I literally am going to put the little urn up here and see if he'll knock stuff over. Once we get him back, I'm telling you. That's my cat that just passed away, you guys. We're still talking about him. But, just things like that but what was great is that I found that was fun for me. And when I'm having fun, I'm living in purpose, because I had to go, I did this mastermind group last year, and everybody had their big why, right? And a lot of it was just this super philanthropic Mother Teresa type of stuff, which is awesome, but I kept thinking, like, man, I can't write that down. Those kind of things are an offshoot of me living in purpose. So my big purpose is live large, have fun.
Yeah.
And so I said that, I'm like, oh, I probably sound like such an a-hole to all these people. Like, if I'm doing it, then that's the offshoot, is all these different things come out of it. Whether or not I'm, it works.
Yeah, and it does work. And there's the piece of, you have your show, your Hangout on Air show, and engagement can happen, the authentic engagement can happen on or off the broadcast, right? So you're also amazing with your engagement in posts as well. And I mean, yeah, rest in peace, Bob Voss, and the way that you drew, like I was saying before we went on air, you posted a video that was just so heartfelt, and like I felt tears come to my eyes. And then the conversation that started from that around what's going on in your life, and it's true and it's authentic, and there are no rules for authenticity. It's okay to show some of your personal life. Like, I thought Bob Voss was your husband at first when I first came in.
Just with a weird profile picture.
Yeah, I'm like, huh.
That's awesome.
But what you did is you drew people in, and people over time know a little bit about your life, but they know who you are professionally too. And there's this balance of that authentic engagement where people know some of those things about your personal life, and they know who you are as a professional too, because we are both of those.
And I think if you get that nailed down right off the bat, I was speaking with a friend of mine the other day about a new little, I call it shtick, like, this is my shtick, that tiara, but I just said, that get that down and get that out there, and then it just, it's like the Carol Burnett thing. I don't know if do you remember Carol Burnett would do this with her
Oh
ear?
yeah, yeah, totally.
So adorable. It is age old. You remember it, at least if you're over 40. But that kind of thing. If you've got that down, then you can just roll that out, and it's just part of your persona, which is wonderful. It's not distracting to your message because people are expecting it, which is nice. So you just choose that, and then choose if it really is authentic with you, or if it's just being kind of, if you're just trying to get attention, that'll show. And like you were saying too, sometimes if you're not posting things just to get, it's not strategy, it's almost like scheming almost.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, scheming with an agenda. I think that's it. Like having this underlying, I don't know if that's the right word, but that's sort of what.
Yeah, it's in there. We're definitely in the right neighborhood to figure out what that is, because it just becomes more of, you read it and it's either self-serving or but then again, we talked about this in the green room too. I see a lot of what not to do, of telling people what to do, and then I want to say stop telling people what to do, but then it's telling people what to do. Right?
Right, yeah. So here's what not to do. Okay, now I'm just telling you what to do. What not to do.
So, but it really is interesting to see that. I think a lot of times also, if you just sort of free up and let people be who they are, if you don't like the posts, you don't have to engage with it. You don't have to reshare it. You don't even have to. You can uncircle that person. Just say, that's not for me. Pretty simple. Like, I think that's a perfect one. Oh, that's not for me. That's it. That saves a lot of time in getting aggro.
Yeah, it's a good little filter to pass it through. Like, is this for me? Is it? No, it's not for me. So I'll just keep going. I don't even need to put any energy there.
Trust me, it's not to say that I don't get aggro with certain things, but then I have to be like, that's not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to take a little quick break. We're about halfway through the show here, and I know people are starting to stream in, and we'd love to hear your comments as well. We're going to start pulling your comments up on screen. What is authentic engagement to you? What do you like? What do you not like so much when it comes to the engagement thing? And I just want to remind you that this is a mini-series. We're on part 3 with Mia Voss here, getting some great information about and great discussion around Authentic Hangout. And then tomorrow will be the last in this 4-part series with Denise Wakeman, and we'll be talking about monetizing your return on engagement. So go ahead.
Sorry, I had to do that.
Yeah.
Because Denise is the shiznit. So sorry, I had to nerd out.
Yeah, no problem.
And that's going to be I just feel like that's going to be a perfect. She'll sew it all together for us for sure.
All right. Wow. Well, I'm going to start pulling up some comments that are coming in here. Crystal says, great point. Lisa Ingalls, Hangouts are real, just like life. So we don't have to be perfect. Who's perfect in real life, anyways? It's much more fun to see you be real rather than be perfect. It's also more fun to be real. Yeah.
Holla, girlfriend.
Than to be perfect. Hello. Come on. Oh my God. That's the thing. Is you're not compromising who you are, and that's what I think was. Well, you said it, Mia. It's so freeing. There are no formulas, no blueprints, because no one else can tell you how to be you.
Yeah, it's true, but then you also, before you get going, you got to be tasked to figure out what is that. And especially if you're building a brand and things like that, if you've got that pretty nailed down of this is what's important to me, this is how I want to come across. Again, these little sticky things are just ancillary, and they're, you can add that in later. Some of them are accidental. This thing was definitely accidental, just because I thought it was fun. But once you really do nail down, like, what is that you? And for me, it is just, we talked about this again in the green room, coming from a family of empaths and intuitives. I realized that talking to people was so energizing for me. I'm an outgoing introvert, so I also get worn out by big crowds or big speaking engagements, or like I went to TEDx the other day and it was wonderful, but I had to go kind of sit in a corner and suck my thumb for about an hour or two with my binky, which is called a glass of wine. and just chill. So, but on the flip side, what also gets me going is on these interviews with people is talking to them and weaving the story together, whether it's just one person or several panelists, and then weaving them together. That's probably the most fun. And when you have this varied, one of these things is not like the other panel, and they just all start vibing together.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to pull up, we have Denise in the house, too. She's going to be here tomorrow. Mia Voss, your purpose and how you live large and have fun is what attracts people to you and why you create loyal fans.
I hope so. Works for me. Thank you, Denise. That's my formula. So everybody just take a sentence like that and say, my XYZ is what XYZ and XYZ. How vague can that be? But it really can. You just throw in like, this is what I do, this is how I do it, and what's the outcome? That's the outcome of it. And it's bringing in new fans or bringing in people that can support you so you can write another book or have a show like this and then showcase and get people thinking and talking and connecting.
So I'm just curious, do you have other ways of connecting with people and having this type of authentic engagement? Well, I'm sure the answer is yes. Besides your Hangouts, besides posts, do you do, so I'm changing the question a little bit mid-point here, but do you ever do private Hangouts just to connect with people and get to know them?
That's how a lot of it got built. I mean, Randy and Annabelle were the first people that I really started chatting with. I think everybody talks about that of how their relationships got built, and it starts with following the person, liking the post, banter back and forth, but Google Plus is so different in that sense of there's never that jump to light speed where you would go have this phone call or hang out with them unless you were there was going to be money exchanged. So there's this really cool element about it that you can actually have this conversation. And I know David Amerland talks a lot about it, where you're like getting the eye connection, the body connection, the thing. I also love the fact, and Google Hangouts changed my business tremendously because I was driving around when I was more of a consultant and having meetings with people. And then finally, about 6 months into being in Hangouts, I was like, I will not meet with anyone unless I've had a Google Hangout with them or a phone conversation and suss out whether this is even worth my time. I mean, I've had everything from it being a very heavily veiled, direct marketing sales pitch. Like, I just drove down here for this. I could have figured that out if I'd done a Google Hangout. So from a business perspective, that's how I use Hangouts. And then just, from the connection, I mean, that's how a lot of shows get born. That's how Food and Booze came out. That was Sheffy and Nazim Beltran and myself just sitting around talking about how much we like food and booze.
I know. I think that is what the technology of Hangouts, what makes it so amazing is that you can do things. Like I said, that the same as you, I've built in this past year of just being within Google Plus and Hangouts specifically, have been able to transform the way that I do business and meet with people and have those real engagements and real interactions. I've said it before, like it's probably twice a week I noticed as I looked in my calendar and looked back that I've had private Hangouts with people, and they were no agenda. Like I just realized, oh my gosh, we were connecting on someone else's Hangout, and there were, I started chatting with someone in the comments, and then that went to private message and like, hey, you want to hang out for a minute and I just find out more about you, like no agenda of if you're going to be a friend or a colleague or a JV partner, and then it just is a natural, organic unfolding like that, just like you said.
Super fun. Just hearing you say that, and I've seen that a lot on shows with audiences connecting with one another. I've had guests connect to each other and watch this really magical love connection happen while they're talking. Christine just did it with Robert Crusoe with bundle posts, and I was like, hee.
Oh my God, I love that.
They just got so enthused about what the other one did and how complimentary it was for them. So that's pretty fun to watch too.
Now that even takes it to the next level where you become the facilitator of other connections between other people. Like that's taking it to the next level. That's so cool.
That's called hashtag GSD.
Yeah, I need to figure out that whole hashtag. How does the hashtag piece play into your authentic engagement?
Oh, God.
I mean, you are all about the hashtags. I am not so good with hashtags. Maybe it's
you
a
are.
way
You
that
just
I'm
haven't done it yet.
Okay.
It's so much fun, and it's. I mean, I still think the most hilarious thing is that skit of oh gosh, the Saturday Night Live, and it's with Justin Timberlake, and they just want hashtag nom 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 when he's eating the cookie, and it's just like this. Oh, have you ever seen it? Oh my gosh, it's so
now
funny.
I'm gonna go. See, I love when Justin is on.
If anybody, it's Justin Timberlake, and why am I thinking it's the late night talk show host that's doing? Oh, Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, because they're like best friends, I think.
And it, and it's so funny. You guys saw that. I thought, ooh, that's kind of me. And then but you just laugh about it. So my thing that I love to do, because obviously hashtags are used for search and things like that, and you want to put that in there. But I use it as a spoof. Quite honestly, get your learn on. That's not a practical hashtag, but I say it anyway. Bat crap crazy. That's used for the Republican Tea Party, but I use it anyway. And then I just have fun with it, like. I try sometimes to make them like this long and just laugh. Funny, So and again, that's not something for everybody, but it's gotten me known a little bit of like me and her goofy ass hashtags. So
well, you have great hashtags, and I got to figure that one out. I'm gonna pull up Susan Anderson's comment here. I think authenticity comes from each person honestly sharing what works for them. Then the invitation comes to have. That help you move into more clarity about what works for you.
Absolutely. I saw, I was going to pull that one up too. Can I just say something funny? I love how Crystal says she tried to +1 Denise's comment on the screen when you pulled it up. Like Pavlov. Click. I like that.
I was having a email conversation with Stefan over the weekend, and I was pulling it up on my phone, and I kept wanting to +1 my email. I'm like, oh, I can't +1 an email.
I did that today. I was looking at something in Living Social, and they had the cutest picture of this dog, and I hovered looking for something to play. I just liked it, So we're definitely click on that one.
Totally programmed.
Yes. Can I say hi to some fun people out there real quick?
Yeah, I was just going to start saying that. Go for it.
Yeah. Well, James joined us. Hi, brother James, and his dulcet tones. Of course, Denise was saying we met at Social Media Marketing World, and I had been semi-stalking her just a little bit because I had a girl crush on her. So that was super fun to take that hangout to the IRL level, and we've been having a lot of that. And in fact, Larry Fernelier is coming here this week, and then next week we're going to have this Hurl event here in Colorado. So a lot of people are coming, and Larry and I are talking about that. We really want to kind of encourage people about getting this balance of the Google Plus life and then your actual hometown, whether that's through meetups or, do you know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to balance your world out a little bit so you don't get too bottom heavy or top heavy.
No, I love that. And in fact, speaking of the in real life thing, did you ever hear about the crazy the crazy hurl that happened to Andy Lyons and I in the spring?
No.
So we both ended up going, and actually Christopher Vogelman was there as well.
I did see that. I think it was when I first got to know you.
Yeah, so basically we were all at the same conference. None of us knew that any of the others were going to this conference down in LA, and sort of like this personal development / visionary leader, wealthy visionaries conference. And just by chance, in a room full of 400 people, it was Andy and I ended up sitting right next to each other, doing a whole little, you do the share your vision and your dream and blah, blah, blah thing with each other. And then we're like, oh, she's really cool woman. And then I heard her talking to the woman next to her, behind her. Yeah, I have a show on Hangouts, Google Hangouts. And I tap her shoulder. I go, I have a show. And then she looks at my tag and she goes, Lisa Ingalls. I know who you are.
No, that wasn't accidental at all, by the way. That was I just see the universe moving you like little checkers and put you right in that spot.
It was so amazing. And then I figured out that Christopher Vogelman was there, and so I ended up having all these accidental hurls.
Right,
was
because
amazing.
usually when it is, it's intentional and it's built around, social media or SEO or these different things as opposed to industry specific. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was. It was very, very crazy. So
Cool.
I know we're pulling together the show here and wrapping up. That half hour just goes by so quick. But
Girl.
I know, I'm just saying. Been wonderful to have you here. And do you have any parting, like Mia nuggets that you can impart, gift to the viewers?
Man. I love this one. It's so cliched and taken, but be yourself because everybody else is taken. That one I love. It's fun and it's really true with this conversation as well. And that can be uncomfortable, but work it out.
Work it out. Be yourself. I mean, that's it. And if you guys have, for those of you who don't watch Mia's show, don't follow Mia, like I said, I know that there are some people over here, some of my colleagues coming over from Facebook and LinkedIn and all of that. Check out Mia Voss. You got to check her out and see what she does. She is, like I said, a master of engagement. She's a master of connecting people. I mean, that's what the Mia Connect is all about. So make sure you go and circle her. And how else can people get in touch with you, Mia?
Subscribe at themiaconnect.com. Boom.
Boom.
I want you on my list. How you like that? Jason Weiser just checked in, and I know he got excited when I said that. And Jim Burwell is there, Lee Rickler. Look at all these boys. Nick Hardot. Hey, brother. Hey. That's a good.
Hey, everybody. I know. We're just like getting. It needed to be longer. Well, you guys are going to have to go back and watch from the beginning because now we're closing off this show. And I want to thank everybody so much for coming in today and commenting. And please do leave more comments just as a reminder. We're continuing this conversation with Denise Wakeman tomorrow at 11 o'clock Pacific time. She's going to be helping us pull everything together and be talking about how to monetize your return on engagement. And just as a little preview, I have another series similar to this one coming up in October. You can find more about it down here at bit.ly/Hangout Hero. And that is it for this part 3 of our series today. Thanks again, Mia, for joining us.
Thank you, sweetie. Thanks for having me on. It's my first time on your couch.
I know. I love it. All right, everybody, thanks so much. And let's continue that conversation in the comments, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.